Okay, so let me go on. So let me see. So today we have Jnana Yoga, Yoga of Knowledge. Okay. So this is the Yoga of Knowledge is Jnana Yoga means is transcendental knowledge. So before I start, let us pay obeisance to Sri Radha the Govinda. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nanaka Shalakaya Chakshumitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Gutapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavscha Sri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Manditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaita Savadatotam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakana Vittamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Prihe Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, okay. So what did we see in the chat? Let me have a think. This form. So Ashali Mataji has shared a form. You all can think. Okay, people are still have a lot of things to. So chapter last yesterday, what did we see? Renunciation. That is Arjuna had some confusion. He wanted to know because he gave lot of jnana and buddhi yoga and everything. So he said it was much better not to do any work and might as well renounce and go to the forest. So he was asking, tell me one which is beneficial to me, either to renounce or to work. But Krishna says both are not mutually exclusive, they are inclusive. You have to, you just by renouncing, you cannot attain perfection because you're still not mature enough. And the work, if you don't do work, it will be because it's an idle mind, it will be for devil's workshop. So you will suffer reactions. So then he suggests Nishkama Karma Yoga, do it for the Lord. That way you don't get any reactions and it is good for your maintaining your body, and also you won't be a burden to the society. And the mind requires some engagement. It always requires, otherwise it is. So it is required to do the work, but do work for the Lord. That's how he talks about the Karma Kanda and how you can. Karma Kanda is what everybody does. That is for their own sense gratification. If you turn it to the for the Lord, then it is Karma Yoga. And we talked about the cycle of sacrifice, the chakram. That is even the food we eat. If you offer it first to the Lord and take it as prasad, that gets sanctified and it is. And then we talked about Sankirtan Yajna. That also will, is a yajna which we can do for Kali Yuga, which is recommended in the scriptures. Then we talked about the role model. And then what is the greatest enemy we have? That is the lust. So the law of karma, we talked, laws of karma was what we was dealt in the last. Now, continuing this, there is no, so this is what? Better than renunciation. Kapayas and impairs, it is body platform. And this is what I said. Do not surrender means is karma kanda. Sakama karma is you surrender only partially. But nishkama is to perform a service. So there's only a shift in the attitude. That means to the Krishna consciousness. That way you do the things. Vedascha sarver aham eva vedaya. Purpose of Vedas is to understand Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then when you looked at the life lessons, no, the chapter 1 was that Arjuna had reached an impasse situation. That is, he didn't know what to do. So I'm powerless, I'm give up. So then what this means, you have to go to an authority. Whether it's in the life or any time when you come into a crossroad, it's better to go to an authority for a solution instead of just giving it up. So then we learned the soul and not the body. This is something that does not change. And the rest changes like this. So we need to work on our abilities selflessly with determination. That's what we look. And then chapter 3 is to go and act. Don't sit and worry. What about me? We do the karma yoga. And in the other coming chapters, that is today, you are going to, don't be a mission, let's listen to knowledge. Because what we told is you work for Krishna or with Krishna consciousness. When we say that, then we need to know about the Lord. We need to know, we need to have some knowledge, and how, otherwise it is no meaning, it's very difficult to work. So it's required to have little spiritual knowledge. That's what is dealt in this chapter. And then chapter 5 and 6, you can really see who the real doers and true yogi. Okay. So in this first 10 verses is talking about the transcendental knowledge and how it comes from parampara. And then he says that Krishna is the goal of all path, and he talks about the Varnashram system and how he reciprocates with the devotees. Then a little bit more he talks, again it touches of karma yoga because it's really difficult to understand. Then he's talking about the sacrifices which lead to transcendental knowledge, and how will that knowledge will cut the knots of the reactions. Then summary of it, tadviti pranipatena, how do we get it? How do we gain this knowledge? This is how it is, the summary of this chapter. So it starts off with, see, when you have a universe, if you have a gadget, like a gadget, like a, say, a mobile will come with some instruction manual, isn't it? How to operate it and how you do that. So in the same way, this universe which has been created by the Lord, there is a scriptures are there which comes to tell us how it, what is the purpose and why we are in this, what is the purpose and its function. And these guidelines are given in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, which contains knowledge of divine origin imparted at the time of creation. So this was being given to through qualified and acharyas, and they have given to the masses. So material creation is essentially a university wherein we discuss our relationship with God. So this chapter starts with the history of Bhagavad Gita, how it came about. Here Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Ivasvate Yogam Proktavan Haham Avyayam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manur Ikshvake Pravit. That is, he is telling, the blessed Lord said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan. Okay, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, and the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvak. So he was the king of the earth. So that's how this Bhagavad Gita was given first to sun god, then to Manu, and then to Ikshvak. This is how it has come right from the beginning. Evam parampara praptam imam rajasya vido sa kale neha mahata yoga nashta paranta. So this supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession. See, it was only told, it was not written down. They will verbally tell and shruti. And from that they used to understand, and they were all saintly kings. They used to understand it in that way. And in course of time, what happened? The succession broke. And therefore, the science as it appears to be lost. That's what the Lord says to Arjuna. Now, so what do you mean by disciplic succession? Bona fide, there are 4 sampradayas we have. There first, we have Brahma Sampradaya, Sri Lakshmi Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya. But Rudra Sampradaya and the acharyas like Vishnu Swami and Nimbaka Acharya, they did not preach it too much. It was all very localized into their own small sector thing. Whereas Brahma Sampradaya and Sri Krishna Sampradaya, they had a very profoundly spread all over the India. This Ramanujacharya mostly was in the south, in Tamil Nadu. Sri Rangam is the temple. And Madhvacharya was in the Karnataka, where Udupi is, Mangalore. And also Madhavendrapur, that is from Brahma, it came to Narada. Narada came down like Vyas, and then down it came to Madhavendrapur. The whole list is there, which is given in the Bhagavad Gita as it is. You can see the list of acharyas, how it has come down. And Madhvacharya is the profound Vaishnava. From him, the Madhavendrapuri is his disciple, who was the spiritual master for Ishwarapuri, and then came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gaudiya Acharya just started that way in Bengal. And then it came down to our Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Okay. And Ramanujacharya is in the Lakshmi, is in Sri Rangam temple. There's a, even now the body of Ramanujacharya is still there in the temple as they have kept it. And Madhvacharya is I don't know if any of you all have visited the Udupi temple, no? He installed the Krishna, and actually he is the great Acharya. So when if you have to read take these scriptures knowledge, it's always is good to see the disciplic succession, how it has come, from which Acharya are you taking this knowledge. But now Arjuna has a question. How you are my contemporary? See, Arjuna Uvacha, he said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? It's natural, no? Because when he's telling in the battlefield that I have told this to sun god, and then it to Manu, and then Ikshvaki, he's wondering, because sun god is not much senior, and you and I are contemporary, how it could be told. So then Krishna says, this is, and actually this question will also come to us. And the answer will be actually for, like, demonic people. I think we will think, no, Krishna is ordinary and is not the supreme. For them, this answer is good. And Arjuna wants Krishna to speak authority, because he doesn't want to leave any doubts left, Even if it is a small doubt, he is asking it. So Krishna says that you and I have been coming birth after birth. You have been coming together, but you don't remember all that. But I remember everything in the past and then also in the future. So that's the he says, and why he comes, and also we need to see the timeline. So the timeline is like Kali, because when we say sun god, we went wonder when it was given, no? Because we know Kali Yuga is 5,000, and at least Bhagavad Gita was given 5,000 years ago to the earth. But when it was given to sun god, so there's a timeline which has been calculated. Like Kali Yuga is 4.32 lakh years. Then twice that Kali Yuga is Dwapara Yuga, and thrice this is Treta Yuga, and 4 times is Satya Yuga. And this 4 yugas is one mantra. So Divya Yuga, 71 Divya Yugas. So once you do this calculation, as per this, you get the life of Brahma. Life of Brahma is about 152.52 trillion years. Okay. And that is the Vedic math. And then if you want to calculate the life of Manu. So life of Manu, when you calculate, accepting before the birth of Manu, the Gita was spoken by the Lord to the disciple. It was spoken 120 million years ago to Vivaswan. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken to the sun god 120 million years ago. Okay, then when was it come to our Gita come to the earth? Okay, this year there's a reference, Mahabharata Chanti Parva. We can trace out the history of the Gita as follows. From there, they have calculated when it has come to the earth. It has come to the earth 2 million years ago. So this is our legacy we have. We have this Bhagavad Gita was given to us. It has come to our earth 2 million years ago. And it is a legacy which is very much we should appreciate, and we should learn it, right? Understand this science. And this one day of Brahma, also you can look at that. It's just 1 second of Brahma is 100,000 years. And these are all given in the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And also you'll be having the PDF, so you can go through the maths. So wow, how does Krishna appear? Krishna, so Ajo hapi san abhyatmam, bhutanam ishvaro api san, prakritim swam adhisthaya, sambhavami atmamya. Although I am unborn, he is eternal, and my transient body never deteriorates. But although I am the Lord of all sentient beings, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So he doesn't come in his material form, he comes in his material form. Actually, first he enters into the art of Nanda Maharaj and then into the art of Devaki Ma thing, and then when he appeared as Narayana. That's how they came to know the Lord has been born. But they were so apprehensive after praying, giving obeisances. They asked him to take the form of a baby because the Kamsa will not leave him thing. And the rest of it you all know. So this is how he has appeared, and he appears in his transcendental form. And when does he come? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutam adharmasya tadatmanam srijayam ham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharata and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend. So here we see, the Kamsa is trying to kill the Devaki. The minute he heard Akashvani telling that her 8th son is the one who is going to be the cause for his death. So he thought, let me kill her. Now it's why wait till her 8 children are born, isn't it? So when this is the time when the irreligion is quite a rise. So that's when Krishna will appear. Yada yada dharmasya glane bhavati bharata. Okay. And why he appears? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chachutrakam dharma samstapanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. So in order to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish dharma, I advent myself millennium after millennium. So every yuga he keeps coming, right, Krishna? And what is the benefit? Now, why he is telling all this? He is telling the history of Bhagavad Gita, when was it told, and how it has come to the earth, and then why he comes, how he comes, and for what reason. So, benefit of knowing this knowledge. So, Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mam Eti Savachana. Punarjanma, that means one who knows this transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in the material world, but attains my eternal world. So this is the assurance he gives. He gives it all. He's clearly indicating that reading this, understanding his transcendental nature and his activities and pastimes, one develops the love for the Lord, and then he doesn't take his birth again and attain my abode. And you might say, and the difference between our body and Krishna. So Krishna's form is spiritual. Our form is temporary. Okay, we have a gross body and thing, and we are controlled by Maya, whereas Krishna is the controller of Maya. Okay, and our body, how we are covered. Our soul is Satchitananda, but we have a gross body, with the body we have, and we are working with it. And actually, and we have also a subtle body, that is mind, false ego, and intelligence. So when we transmigrate from one body to the other, we go along with our subtle body. The gross body is leaven and we take another gross body. But the subtle body, which has got mind, is the reservoir of desires, everything that goes with us. So, and all our reactions and karmic balance and all that which we have. So, Krishna, as anybody in history able to know Krishna? So, this is the question. So, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mam Upasrita Bhavam Jnana Tapasa Putamad Bhavam Agat Tamam Prapadante Tams Tataiva Bhajami Ham Mama Vatmanuvantante Manishya Partha Sarvasha. So, what he says here, Vita Raga, that is free of attachment to this bodily platform. If we keep on thinking that we are the body and not the soul, then we cannot come out of it. So that is the thing. Once you're free from that attachment, and there are some people who have fear. That is, bhaya is a fear. Fear that they don't want to lose this identity. They don't know what happens, what will be the next thing, how will they be, and they can't perceive themselves as without this body. So there's so much, they have a fear of that, losing their identity. And also there are some, they will read the scripture, they'll try to understand, somehow they're not able to understand. And that becomes like turns into an anger. So if you're free from this attachment by a thing, then you're able to come to me, come to understand. That's what Krishna says. So he's an Agneshwara thing. So being freed from attachment, fear and anger, being fully absorbed in me, and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me. And thus they all attained transcendent love for me. So, and they all surrendered to him. And depending on how much they surrender, accordingly I reward them. That depends. So that's where the glitch is. The minute there are many Prajapatis, who in the past they had understanding all this, they had surrendered into the Lord, and they was able to, and the Lord has rewarded them accordingly, and they have attended his board. Okay, somewhere in the Shantya Rasa, somewhere in the friendly thing, and many relationship they had the love for the Lord, they had, and depending on the way they surrendered to me, I reward them. Okay, that's what the Lord says. But there is a lot of blockers. There is something, which is people don't attain this. Why? That's when he explains. When in this world desire success in the fruitive activities, they want to become educated, they want to have a lot of wealth, and they do, and therefore they worship the demigods. Demigods are the devatas, who are actually the Lord would have given a lot of responsibility to many of the devatas to take care, this whole universe, to handle it. So they worship the demigods, and quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work, and they think that is the end of it, that is the goal of their life, and they don't go beyond that. And they don't think that they have to go back to their goal of. And also, he had created a system, Varnashrama system, that is for that, so that the society will be able to help each other and go back and to learn this science. So what is that thing? He says, Chaturvarnyam Maya Shrishtam, Guna Karma Vibhagasa, Tasya Kartaram Apimam, Vitti Akartaram Avyaya. According to the three modes of nature and the work ascribed to them, 4 divisions of human society were created by me. Although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am at the non-dual being change. So what is this 4 orders of ashram? See, there are some people who are inclined to learn things, study Vedas and preach. They are the Brahmanas. Okay, they are the Brahmanas, and they were the ones who will learn the scriptures, and they will teach the others in the society. And there are Kshatriyas who like to administrate, they want to rule and they want to protect the things. So they take up the protecting the citizens and protect the Brahmanas and all that. And there are other kind of people who like to do trading and think they are the Vaishyas and the Sudras who like to work for them. So all of them, and even today you see such 4 classes of men, some are of intelligent class, then you have the political class, then you have the business people, and you are also the workers, laborers class. So that is there. But what was the system which was created by the Lord? He says, according to their nature. See, if you just because you are born in a Brahmana family doesn't mean you have to be a Brahmana. You need to have that qualities. Okay, so that is what is not by birth. It's only according to your nature and the work, then you take up that accordingly, that work, So, but though he created this system so that they cooperate each other and they'll uplift in the spiritual life, but Krishna is not in, I'm not the doer, and he's not in it. No, he's out, though it is there. So, Namam Karmani, there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. So one who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of the work. Actually, what happened, we can see that Krishna displayed all the gunas. Like he was with his friend, no? He was like a Brahmana thing. He performed then in the battlefield when Bhishma was fought very ferociously, he lifted the wheel to react to the Bhishma. And then in with Nanda Maharaj, he was like a Vaishya, cohort thing, and he was there. And then he was a charioteer, he was a Sudra. So he displayed all the gunas, but he doesn't aspire for the fruits of action. And but if you know all about him, his divine qualities, then you don't get entangled in the reactions of work. So now he continues to say that karmano hi api bodhayam cha vikramanaha akramanascha bodhayam karma. That is, the intricacies of action are very hard to understand. It's not that easy. When we talk about the fruitive activities, we say, no, our karma or the activities is not that easy to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what the action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Here is what Hare Krishna, yesterday Omkara Prabhuji was asking me about this inaction. That is the akarma. So today I'm just going to give that explanation. So vikarmis are the one who work for their sense gratification. They don't follow the scriptures or the Vedas. They only think about themselves. And so there's such kind of activities, they will risk of going to lower species. And they are not appreciated by the saintly people. But and that defeats the purpose of life, because they'll keep coming into the circle of death, birth, death cycle. They don't escape. They keep coming and coming, and they will, unless they come out of this cycle. There are karmis. They are very pious people who they'll follow the Vedas and they'll do a lot of yajnas, and they will, of course, there are a lot of punya, pious activities they would have done. They surely go to take heavenly planets, they go to Swarga and all that. But once their pious quota has been over, they think then they'll have to come back to Mrithyaloka, because from here only you can achieve the liberation. So self-realization can come only from here. So not just doing the pious activities. So pious activities or impious activities that cause their own reaction, but you can't go beyond that. But there is the other class, which we call the akarma. They come to the platform of devotional service to Krishna. So they know that fruitive activity binds and means rebirth. So by doing our devotional service, they know they can cross this cycle of things and they can go back to the Lord. And the best example is our Narada Muni. So the activities is all the time in the devotional service. So this is what is the akarma. This is what Krishna calls them as akarma. And he defines that there's no reaction and the work is not on the material level. Okay. These activities are all performed on the spiritual level. So these actions will not have any reaction, and ultimately it will free one from anxiety and entanglement of the world. This is known as akarma. I think I have been explained to Omkara. had asked yesterday about this with the comparison to Nishkama. Nishkama Karma Yoga might be doing the activities on the material plane, but still that day they will be sacrificing surrendering the results to the Lord. They're working. But here they will be completely working on the spiritual platform. Okay. Because they're fully in the Krishna consciousness. So then how do we come on to that? How do we get trained in them? So that here the Krishna says you have to learn this truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashtena sevaya. Pariprashtena, inquire him humbly. Sevaya, do service unto him. Upadakshyanti te gnanam gnanita tattva dashinam. That is, the master, spiritual master is a self-realized soul. He can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So by approaching a spiritual master, you can get this knowledge. So this is how, and this knowledge will help us to destroy the reactions which you have from the fruitive activities. So what did we learn today? In this chapter, it is all about transcendental knowledge and how the history of Bhagavad Gita and how it came on the earth 2 million years ago. And usually it comes down the parampara, disciplic succession. We get to know this, and it is a legacy. And all of us in India, we should learn this, understand this science of knowing Krishna. And Krishna is the goal of all the paths. You know, he is the path. We might be at different stages. And he has created this Varnashrama system. He says this will help each one have different natures. You know, the people are all having different natures. So they might take up activities according to their nature, and they can work coordinately among each other to uplift the spiritual life. So that is what the aim of Varnashram system was there in the Vedic culture, but now it has degraded to a mundane caste system, but that is not the one which was created before. And Karma Yoga, then he talks about the Vikarma, Karma, and Karnis and Akarma. How you can do the devotional service, the one which will have no reactions. And then this we didn't touch much on the sacrifices because that goes into deep. But how do you get this knowledge? By going to a spiritual master. Tad vidhi pranipatena, you will be able to gain this knowledge, which will help you to come. So how do you come out of this transcendent knowledge? Will help us to come out of this cycle of death and birth. That is our reflection. That is what we take back home. That is transcendent knowledge, helps that. And how do we get it? From the parampara system, disciplic session. We need to surrender to the spiritual master and learn from him humbly. That. So that's how you can get the knowledge that will free us from this reactions. He clearly says, no, that once who understands this divine pastimes of the Lord, they will go back to him. That is for sure. And depends on how we surrender to the Lord. That to that extent, he will reciprocate to us. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, if you have any questions, I will show. Vancha kalpataru abhyascha, pipa sindhu avevacha, patitam nam pavanebho, vaishnavabho namo namaha. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let us all chant and be happy.